What's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the new Chronosfear album titled The Astral Gates Part 1, A Secret Revealed. It's one heck of a title, but it's for one heck of an album. I'll just say that right off the bat. Before I really get into the details, though, you know how we like to check out the cover, so boom, there it is. Check that out. It just looks great. I love the colors. I'm a sucker for purple, and it's got like a real ethereal kind of look. It's got that mountain there, but this door kind of opening up. Seems like a different dimension or something like that. I mean, it says the Astral Gates, so some kind of metaphysical or, other dimensional type of deal going on here. But you see this purple mist or energy, coming out of there, and just the scenery in the background with the clouds, and just the colors, the whites, the purples, and then the dark, the grays and the dark greens there with like the mountain. Just looks really, really cool with the name Chronosphere up there. Just really, really neat imagery. Just looks nice, at first glance, and you can look into it even closer, and it's just done really, really well. And I think it definitely gives off the vibe that you're getting some power metal here of some fashion. So really, really, really dig it. And again, I think it sets the proper expectations for what you may, expect to get in the actual album itself. So I really, really like this cover. Super clean. It's tight. Dig it. Anywho, so this bad boy's 12 songs, comes in about 51 minutes, and it's quite the record. I wasn't sure fully what to expect going into this thing, and it's just really sets itself apart from some of the other power metal releases lately. Like with the intro track, so 2101 Ruins of Our World Prologue. It's just an instrumental, and it immediately just really sets the scope. That is one thing I have to say about this album is the implementation and the usage of an orchestra and choirs and everything, and with the keyboard sounds, it just really, really sets just a massive scope. It's really, really breathtaking, honestly, like the vastness of the sound that this album produces. And this opening instrumental really kind of sets that mood, and it sets a kind of a dark, kind of ominous sort of mood. So I would say this album really has like an edge to it. It's got a bit of a fantasy, but like dystopian kind of future sci-fi sort of vibe to it, and somewhat of a ominous sound, somewhat of a darker kind of sound, but then there's glimmers of hope, speckled throughout, which is really, really cool. It's a really hard-hitting, fast-paced power metal sound with a lot of just driving guitars. But like I said, you get choirs, you get really cool like keyboard kind of, sometimes electronic kind of sounds going, and then you get your brass and your other orchestral kind of, instruments to really kind of create, just like I said, this big sound. But the main, piercing guitars and everything just really drives this album forward, and it has this unique quality to it that it's really hard to put into words. Where the best I can say is just really got this edge to it, but like clean, but really gives off this kind of almost metallic, dystopian sci-fi kind of vibe. It just captures what is going for so well, just in the music and the instruments and the arrangements, and it's just really, really cool. The vocals are just phenomenal. I mean, considering everything else going on, and this, he just really, really is able to carry, the vocals and just really dynamic and do lots of different things. The second track here, Faithless Times, it's really interesting because right off the bat, it starts out with some harsh kind of vocals, and there's very little, very, very little harsh vocals in this album, but just thought it was a really interesting choice that the very first vocals that you hear on this album are harsh vocals, and I think that also adds to kind of the dark, sense or, mood of this album, to where it's not just all a bunch of roses and whatnot. It's kind of a dark, like I said, it's got a real edge to it, and almost like a hopelessness feel. But then you also have your moments of a more brighter kind of like a sense of hope shining in the darkness. But so that was an interesting choice. And then he comes in with this clean vocals and just so dynamic, just great range, great voice, really, really able to hold his own and to kind of carry you through these songs, through the vocals. So that's really great. And again, it just really, really keeps chugging. It just keeps moving along. It's like a edge of a sword or something almost. That's why I say like steel or metallic. It just rips right through and gives you this sense of this futuristic kind of sci-fi dystopian future where there's just lots of machines and robots and things like that. It's just the sense that I get from it. And there's a couple interludes on here that again add to the ominous sense where there's no vocals, but it just kind of these sounds and this breathing and one of them that just really kind of makes you feel a sense of like oppression or something. Really, really cool. It's definitely a very themed album and really kind of takes you, somewhere else. And then you got track 8, Fragments, which is a duet, which is really great. The female vocals on there are just fantastic, and they sound awesome together. And it just keeps going, and Eyes of the Wolf is like a really hard-hitting, heavy track that just, again, has that dark kind of sound, but then it's got such a melodic chorus. That's the thing here, too. You get a lot of nice melodies interspersed throughout, like the real heavy, fast-paced, more aggressive sounding. That's another good word to describe this. Is very aggressive. It has a lot of aggression somewhat in the sound and the tempo and the guitars and everything else in it. That's why the orchestra and the choirs just takes that even to another level and just, again, makes you feel like this is like this world. It's just huge production. It's really, really great. And then the last track on here, I have to say, The World I Left Behind. This is a masterclass of how to end an album. I kid you not. This song is just an emotionally charged and powerful like ballad that just really rounds out the album. And, I don't want to say too much about any of it or whatnot, but this song just, like a lot of moments in this album, honestly leaves you kind of breathless, kind of just, multiple times throughout listening to this album, my first time. Even on subsequent listens, I'll be sitting there and there'll just be a moment in a song or something, and I'll literally just be like, you kind of just start listening like, wow, this is just so big and so vast and so powerful and just so cool. It just sounds so great. And this song, this ending song, it just, you'd be hard pressed to find a better ending song on another album than this here. It just really, it's already an experience, this record. And then this song just really rounds it out and just leaves you just like for me, I was just left, wow, wow. That's the sense you get when this whole thing is over with. And you just want to go back and listen to it all over again. I'm not kidding here, folks. This thing is the real deal. Really, really dig it. That's pretty much what I got to say. You know, it's just got amazing, aggressive guitar work here that just drives, like pierces through and just keeps on, you know, keeps it moving throughout this whole thing. Great solos and guitar work. Like I said, the vocals are just fantastic, and the arrangements and the orchestra, everything is so impeccably arranged. You know, like such care. You can tell such care was put into arranging each of these tracks, which with all the different elements. There are times there is so much going on, so many different instruments and sounds and the vocals and the melodies, but it all sounds so clean and so cinematic and so epic. Truly, truly masterful work here on the orchestrations and arrangements. It just, all around, just a fantastic power metal album. Really can't get enough of it. And again, this final track is just an absolute masterclass on how to end an album. It just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that's really what I got to say about this. You know, I think I gave you a good idea of what to expect here. Driving, aggressive power metal with heavy, heavy theme work that really takes you somewhere else. And it just a grand, cinematic, epic sound with just such a vast scope. And just really, really cool. And now I'll leave you all with one song. If you're only going to listen to one song off this album to decide whether you want to hear the whole thing or not, I suggest the Astral Gates. It's track 4. This thing is just incredible. The choirs, and it gives you just a great indication of the production value on this bad boy and the sound that you can expect. The sound that I'm trying to describe is just like a metal, metallic, futuristic, sci-fi, dystopian future kind of sound, and a sense of hopelessness, but also moments of hopefulness. So check that out, the Astral Gates, and that's what I got for you. This thing is quite incredible, and the best thing about it too is that it says that this is part 1, so we know, I assume a part 2 will be coming down the line, and boy, I cannot wait. But until then, I'm going to be listening to this thing quite a bit. I just enjoyed it that much. Let me know in the comments below if you've listened to this already and what you think of it. And if you haven't listened to it, I'm not kidding you, folks. Listen to this thing. It's really, I can't heap enough praise on it. I just have really, really, really enjoyed this album. So check it out. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this thing. I'll catch you all next time. Ranger, out.